We are still giddy and nobody can tell us not to be because it's just a little over 24 hours since News Central launched on Go TV. Please, Jotori Olomofin Beyi. Adebego, this one I go talk for everything where I be. Tell a friend to tell a friend to go and find us on Go TV channel 23. It's just, we'll be there. This beauty, you will see her in your house, in Okoko, in Ojuelegba, everywhere in Lagos, in the entire country, we're there. Anyway, Wednesday was a big day for us, and we want to keep the momentum going. With News Central TV now on Go TV, that means more people across Nigeria can be part of this bold, fearless conversations that we bring on this platform. There are a few guarantees in life. There are very few guarantees in life, but here is what we can guarantee you on Jasiri. Bold and courageous conversations will always be the order of the day. We will fight. Yes, we fight, especially with that one in whatever she's wearing. And of course, we laugh all the time. And we've cried here too. And we will surely cry again because somebody must do something. It's a must. Sometimes you would agree with us, and of course, many times you might want to be on the other side and shout at us, but we can take it. But we can trust that there will never be a dull moment with us. So once again, after all that editorial things I said, please, you are welcome to Jasiri.
So I don't know what's going on. There seems to be some kind of spirit in the studio with the ladies today, but I'll take it because Catherine is literally just giggling across from me.
She's a Saudi wife.
Oh, wow. All right, let's focus. This, because we have guests, can we behave? Thank you.
Absolutely.
This International Women's Day, the call to action is clear. Accelerate action to close the digital gap for female-led businesses. Now, in a world where women are the backbone of SMEs and SMEs are the backbone of the economic growth of any country, neglecting AI adoption for women is no longer an option. That's why the Nimbus Aid Foundation and ALX Nigeria are joining forces to empower 10,000 female entrepreneurs with AI-driven digital transformation skills. With a one-day AI for MSME workshop and a 6-week boot camp for the top 5%, this initiative is designed to bridge the digital gender divide and unlock new growth opportunities for women-led businesses. Today, we dive into the impact of how this initiative, how AI can fuel the success of female-led MSMEs, the role of digital skills in economic empowerment, and what this means for the future of women entrepreneurs in Nigeria. Joining us is Ruby Igwe. She's the country manager and director for Nigeria for ALX Africa. And we also have Wale Adegoke. He's the CEO, Nimbus Media Limited. Ruby and Wale, welcome to Jasiri.
Thank you.
Welcome. They're not acting like they've been hearing all the things. They've been exposed to a lot in about 10 minutes before the show started. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us.
you.
I mean, they usually say ladies first, but I want to beg to differ because I want to start with Wale. Wale, can you give us an overview of the Nimbus and ALX Nigeria International Women's Day project and what inspired this initiative?
Okay, thank you so much. Great to be here. Nimbus Aid Foundation actually just started last year, but prior to that, it was called the Nimbus Aid Project. And the Nimbus Aid Project was about empowering SMEs, women-led businesses with advertising collateral, because a lot of these businesses, they don't have enough money to invest in advertising and marketing properly. But tech has been a big thing. So getting to have ALX as a client at Nimbus and then engaging with them, we realized that there's so much that they have in their kitty, you know, and then they start telling us so many things and we're like, wow. So we have a little community of businesses that have actually been beneficiaries of the Nimbus Aid project over the years, just over 30 businesses, and they told us that they've empowered over 60,000, you know, people with digital skills, and I'm like, wow. From that small, so we were like, man, how can we work together to reach more people? And then that's what brought this about. So the Nimbus Aid Foundation started having conversations with ALX, and here we are now, and I'm really happy because this is actually happening.
Wow, very interesting. I like the fact that this one is woman-focused.
Yes.
It's just happening in the month of March, which is very lovely. Ruby, lovely name, by the way.
Thank you.
Why is it critical to focus on AI adoption for female-led MSMEs at this time? You know, and I know that in talking to so many tech, we've been talking to in so many tech spaces, that there seems to be a sense of urgency for this AI adoption for Africa SMEs. No, this one is SMEs. It said that this has the potential to boost productivity by 20 to 30%. Why? How is that going to happen? Even though a lot of people still fear this AI, like it's coming to take over the world.
No, AI is not coming to take over the world. It is an opportunity, and it's an I don't know about this word, but it is an opportunity to leapfrog over a lot of different things that may have held African entrepreneurs and African female entrepreneurs that are in SMEs, even MSMEs back. So when people think of AI, it's not necessarily about building a tool. It's about learning to use tools so that you can continue to move quicker. So things that help you to analyze your books faster, things that help you to come up with copy faster, help you to analyze the data of your customers or potential customers, how to become, you can even create customer service bots so that they can be working while you're sleeping. So all of those things continue to put you at the forefront so that you don't have to then do all the work by yourself, because usually, like Wale said, first, you're not even able to afford advertising, but then even then, you're probably not necessarily able to afford as many employees. Yeah. So AI could then take the replacement of about 5 to 10 employees and then do the work as long as you understand how to harness the tools. And at ALX, we are all about helping people to harness tools, not just for entrepreneurship, but for tech skills and for even their future, just to change their stories. So this is something we're very, very excited about being able to do with Nimbus.
No wonder Wale is excited about that. Yes. I'm looking at the partnership and I'm saying that, well, you already have a synergy. But Wale, let me come back to you. So this program is to train 10,000 women in business, like AI in business. So I'm looking at the short-term and long-term expectations. In a nutshell, how would you describe the long-term impact and the short-term impact?
So when you start a business, it's really, really, really daunting. I'm a small business owner, you know. My company is just over 10 years old, but started as a small business, just, you know, so...
10 years old in this space? Small business?
Right, yeah, because we still face these challenges. So, you know, when thinking about all the things you need to go through, all the things, money you need to spend, there's a whole lot. And consultants, they are a big chunk of what you need to spend the money on. Yeah, of course, employees also, but consultants, you know, there's consultants in the finance space, legal space, name it, depending on the specialization of your business. So if there is this technology that, I don't know whether the people have that kind of money, but some of these consultants, they collect money before they even touch your work,
yes, of course.
You know, and then maybe you'll be paying as you go. Yeah. So imagine if there's this technology that can actually be free and then can help you in terms of advertising. You need to write copy, you need to create designs, you know, for your flyers and things like that. Imagine if this technology that you can actually use to do these things without maybe not paying as much, and maybe paying one-off, or maybe even not paying at all, because there are a lot of free tools. So this is the kind of sensitization that we want to bring, and the long-term impact would be more productivity, because against what people think that this is going to take away jobs.
Yeah, that's the perception.
When you have a business that you can actually make money, then you can employ people and pay them. But if you are not making money, you can't employ people. So if you have solutions that are helping you to start make money and maybe even multiply the money you're already making, that's going to help you empower people in your community. And we've already seen that happening.
You know, because we'll go for a break sometime soon, but when you look at this empowerment, Ruby, you said AI is not coming to take over. But I'm not sure I absolutely necessarily agree with you, because we've been told that there are jobs that we know in the next 20, 30 years are going to go extinct, and there are jobs that we've not even conceived of that are going to come. the idea would hopefully be for those people whose jobs are going extinct to find a way to migrate into the jobs that will be created. But that's a skill transformation. That's a skill transfer that is very difficult for many people to do. And even many countries, when you look at even the AI and the technology adoption here on the continent. So my question is really around, for women and for an economy, what happens if we don't catch up and we are not on this train of the digital AI transformation? I heard that there's a bakery in Ibadan already that doesn't really employ too many people. Why? Because everything is automated. No hands touch the bread in Ibadan. No hands touch the bread.
In Ibadan.
In Ibadan. So companies will think of the long-term profits, what it takes for them to maybe buy one piece of automated machinery, will pay for the salary of maybe 5 or 6 staffs over many years and all you have to do is a few, what is it called, servicing, and they're making more profits, and they're not worried about labor unions and off days and all those kind of things. So when somebody hears you say it's not coming to take over, they're not exactly sure. But what also is the cost of us not being on this train of AI transformation and adoption?
So my answer is partly in your question. You mentioned that there are going to be jobs that will be unveiled as we go along, as well as other jobs are going to be phased out. So in understanding how to take advantage of being techno-fluent, so what the word we use in ALX is techno-fluent, as you become more techno-fluent. So it's not, it's not
dinosaurs are here.
I am going to use this word for my daughter today.
So you're not
Are you techno-fluent?
No. It's more to be, it's not necessarily that you're learning to code. It's just even learning how to use an AI tool. Do you know how to use ChatGPT? Do you know how to use Grammarly? Do you know how to use Canva? It's really that simple. And then you can go all the way to learning how to code, yes. So the cost of not knowing how to do this is you will find yourself in a world where you're not able to compete. And that is something ALX does not want for a single Nigerian or a single African looking to either, play in the employment landscape or to set up a business. We don't want that for anybody because the cost is economical. You don't make money. Then the cost is social. What are you doing when you're not working? We don't want that for anybody at all.
All right, so let's go for a quick timeout. When we come back, the conversation will continue. We'll talk a little bit more about the boot camp, which is for the top 5%, right, of those who are going to get trained, and also look at the challenges that women face along the AI technology value chain. The conversation continues right after this. While AI presents a massive opportunity for business growth, a persistent digital gender gap continues to hold many women back. Studies show that women are 25% less likely than men to have the digital skills needed to leverage technology effectively. Now, this disparity limits their ability to scale businesses, increase revenue, and also compete in the digital economy. And as we look at solutions, we also have to ask, what are the biggest challenges female entrepreneurs face in adopting AI? How can AI help women balance business and personal responsibilities? And what role do partnerships and sponsorships play in sustaining these initiatives? Now, we'll continue to explore the next steps in closing the gender gap and ensuring sustainable digital transformation for female-led MSMEs. Ruby Igwe of ALX Nigeria and Wale Adegoke of Nimbus Media are still with us. Before we get into the challenges, so we're looking at a program that's going to train 10,000 women in AI for business, but you also want to take the top 5% and give them scholarships. So that's about 500 of them, scholarships for a 6-week boot camp. I know somebody whose ears have perked up right now, inside the studio and outside the studio. But what is the selection criteria for these scholarships? It's easy to say the top 5%, but what are you really looking at? Wale, Ruby, I don't know who wants to take this.
Okay, let me take this. So there's actually a form that needs to be filled for you to be eligible to partake in the 2-hour virtual training. And the form is actually very rich. When you go through the form, as a business person, you're going to get a lot of self-reflection. Like, wow, I didn't think of this. Oh, this is available. Oh, am I supposed to be doing this? Should I have been doing this? So that in itself, because a big part of business is thinking through, getting advice, thinking again, taking action, making mistake, thinking again. So when you have opportunity to go through something like that, and the funny part is that a lot of people, they pay top dollar to have access to things like this, but we're actually giving this thing out. And we hope that people would actually value it. So by the time you go through that form, the way you fill the form would give us some input into whether you are going to be eligible for, whether you will
the
be
6
picked.
week boot camp.
Yes, and then on the 2-hour training, there are going to be opportunities for interaction on the platform through polls, questions, and of course, attendance, right? So by the time we have all that information, we'll be able to have the criteria by which we would give the scholarships. Ruby, I hope I did a good job.
Yes, I would have just to add an underscore, if anybody is looking for a little bit of expo, it's just intention, like you said. We're going to be able to read your intention for your business and for yourself, because it's a self-awareness exercise. And by the time we do that, then it'll be really easy to see who deserves a scholarship.
Excuse me, because how much is it worth? And the reason I'm asking is this. Oftentimes when people hear something is free, or that they have to just do a little bit to get, they don't value what please, how much is this for 6-week boot camp worth?
If it was to be paid
If it was to be paid.
Okay, so the total amount that the scholarship will be worth is over $10,000. So let me just put it that way. So,
Okay. Wow, let's talk challenges, because even though this is a great thing, there will definitely be hiccups and, you know, things that you need to walk through.
Yeah.
Studies have shown that women are 25% less likely than men to be sufficient when it comes to digital skills. So I'll be asking Ruby, what are the greatest barriers, you know, that you think is keeping women entrepreneurs from leveraging AI? Because in fairness to them, women have pivoted so much over the years, especially Nigerian women who are doing maybe small businesses.
Yes. So I think that one of the first things that you would think about is the enemy within. There's a proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. So a lot of people are thinking, AI, and what they think of maybe is Will Smith and a robot, and they're like, well, I don't know, I do not like math, I do not like science.
I robot.
You know, and they're like, I don't know how to do all of that. And at the end of the day, by the time they
talk
actually
themselves out of
yes,
it.
there's a lot of self-doubt, but by the time you actually engage and you navigate it, which is what we've seen with the thousands of women that we've already empowered with ALX Nigeria, by the time they get into it, they're like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was. And then they go and call their friends. So I feel like there's a wave that's still coming, but the initial thing is also that enemy within. And then the second thing I think would be time, because sometimes it's really hard to prioritize yourself and the investment in yourself for your better future. It's really hard sometimes for you to actually remind yourself that you deserve it and you must take advantage of it. So those two things.
So let's talk about because really on the flip side of the challenges are, you know, opportunities and successes and, you know, a chance to grow. So it would be great to hear some success stories from ALX Ruby. And then, of course, how does AI specifically help women to balance business decisions, business demands with personal growth? Because that's another thing. AI is not in just one sphere. AI is taking over, whether we like it or not. But when we say taking over, like you said, it's not in a bad way. We look at it as an advantage, as a tool to aid growth and to help you be better and navigate and multitask better. So are there some success stories from ALX?
Yes.
And,
Okay, so keeping it, I mean, I can always talk about the amazing success stories. Wale talked about 60,000 people. That was last year. This year, over 100,000 people. As at this time, over 100,000 people have gone through ALX programs. Wow. So these people are not just people in entrepreneurship. They've also done programs in virtual assistant roles as freelancers. So they've opened freelancer practices. They're able to sustain their families. We've got people who have gone on to do software engineering, people who've gone on to do cloud computing, people who've gotten scholarships to go to universities abroad. So ALX is here for, like I said, people who are ready to change their stories. But keeping it with entrepreneurship, there are people who've been able to automate their businesses and get out there. So there were people, let's say, for example, just somebody who sold carpets in Kano. Now, by going through an ALX program, they're able to get their business, even if it's on WhatsApp or on Instagram, and get a website or a product page. So what that has enabled them to do is to sell their products and engage with people, not just in their vicinity, thereby opening up an entire stream of income.
So, Wale, as she was talking about businesses, you've talked about Nimbus being around for over 10 years now. How have you started sort of bringing technology and AI into your business? I think you're a really good practical example.
100%.
Sitting right here in front of us.
Well, to be honest, it's been a journey. Talk about accounting. You go from writing it, go to spreadsheets, then you go to using packages, then you need multiple users, you know, that's just accounting. We are in the space of outdoor media, you know, so we are one of the pioneers in terms of using AI cameras to capture audiences at our locations and create reports for our clients. Wow. Over 6, 7, 8 years ago, we stopped using flash drive to upload and start using the internet to upload, and then using packages to upload on screens at multiple locations around Nigeria that some staff in our office have never been to. Get pictures from those places. Yeah. You know, so that's just one part of the business. There's another part of the business where we have to do marketing and sales. So we have a CRM package. CRM involves sending emails, involves follow-up, involves conversion of funnel. We have bots that look at that. So I can't say everything. But this has been a process, right? Yeah. And we are not even where we want to be. I'm telling you that the form for this ALX, when I read it, I myself, I'm like, man, I need this boot camp. So if not that I'm a promoter, I don't know whether I'm eligible, right?
Conditions apply. T's and C's apply, sorry.
Wow, that's so interesting. Very, very, honestly, it's like we're in a new world. I can just see us stepping into the horizon of new. You know, all those things we used to see when we were much younger, where an individual would just step and you see like lights, and as she puts her hands through the light, she turns into a robot. I see that, you know. And ALX Nigeria aims to graduate at least 280,000 women in tech and entrepreneurship in this 2025. Lofty goal. How does this, you know, fit into the broader picture for digital transformation for a country like Nigeria that we are faced with numerous other challenges? That's quite lofty. 280,000. It's like almost everybody.
So many more women left.
It's a very big number. It's definitely a very big number. But like I said, we've already crossed the 100,000. So we're very, very confident that with the momentum we've already gained, we will do even more this year. But it fits into digital transformation because there is, the statistics tell us we're at 33% unemployment. We have over half of our population that are even young. So there's a massive youth bulge who would be quicker in terms of adopting digital tools before we then deal with other people who might take longer time. So it definitely fits in with digital transformation because we will be at the forefront in terms of top employees and in terms of people who are looking to build out entrepreneurship skill sets in their toolboxes that help them to solve Nigeria's challenges. So these challenges you mentioned, they will be solved with disruption. They will be solved with NEPA. He's already doing what he's doing with AI and cameras. Imagine if you have tools that are able to then say, okay, where are these bad roads? Where do they lead to? How do we reimagine towns? How do we reimagine cities? All of those things exist. And there's data as well that would help us to, there's data already available, but then it's not being understood as well. It's not being assimilated because there are not that many people actually understanding that these are things that they want to assimilate, different trends and so forth. So there's a lot of work that just empowering more people, you know, we will see the network effect both socioeconomically and then also transforming our country. I
mean, but I want to believe that this empowerment does not just stop with this initiative, right? If the government does not prioritize this, and I'm always heavy on that because it's one thing to start this movement and then I'm not saying it will, but it can get stuck if it's not prioritized, if the government does not invest heavily in it. Eventually, we start seeing that these much people do not have the tools as much as we're hoping that they do. What do you think happens then? How do we prevent this?
So we have already started to have conversations with the government. We've worked with the government in the past few years, and we continue to have conversations with them on a regular basis. And we're very excited to see that they are also interested and they're excited about the opportunity. For example, ministers that work in communications, in youth, they are very, very passionate about being able to open those doors. And we're very excited to see how we can support as a leader of tech education.
Well, let me come back to Nimbus Aid Foundation. You talked about it last year being a project, and now it's a foundation. So I'm also quite interested in how Nimbus, with the foundation, is looking to expand its impact beyond advertising into tech empowerment. Because also it seems you two are very passionate about it. So all I know is ChatGPT. But let me tell you, people, it's not every day, but it's useful. And when you find out how easy certain things, you just think to yourself, what were we doing before all of this?
I'm glad I graduated before I came.
Do you know? It's actually very important. I feel like it will just make a whole generation lazy. But that's another, their challenges are going to be different than the challenges that Ruby. But Wale, in terms of the foundation expanding beyond advertising into the tech empowerment conversation, what is that all about?
Yeah, so I'll just put it on productivity. You know, I think that's the key thing. And just want to jump on what you said about ChatGPT and how maybe you feel like upcoming students may be adversely affected. Well, the thing is, the thought process of a person when they are trying to execute something is actually very important. And I don't know if you ever heard this thing, garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
So as much as these things are becoming ubiquitous, there will be a lot of ubiquitous nonsense. As far as business is concerned, you have an end product. You want to make money. You want to create value so that you can make money. So if you have tools that are helping you to do that, it behoves on you to explore those tools. And we started out wanting to help small businesses get visibility. But by the time we started putting together a community, we start realizing that it's not just the visibility, because if you're not already competent with some things and getting a large level of productivity, then the visibility is just going to be wasted. So that's why this is so timely for us, and this is the direction we want to go, because technology helps with that productivity, and then you can go to scale. And I think the more visibility you have is better when you have scale. Scale in your processes and in your productivity. So that's why we feel like this partnership and more partnerships like this giving us the direction to actually empower businesses with what they need in terms of productivity. My grandmother was a business person, and she was a market woman. So she used to sell stuff in the market, and I don't know if there's any tech that they were using back then. But I know that tech is like a buzzword, because a pencil is a form of tech. If you are
For every generation, they have their tech.
they have their tech. So yeah, exactly. So they had the tech they were using then. So
That was novel.
I don't want to make it seem like, oh, we know all and better than the people in the past, but we can learn from them. And I know that there were some catastrophes that happened that could have been avoided. And so we just want to be able to have people empowered with the knowledge so that they won't make those mistakes. They won't make the mistakes of paying somebody a huge amount of money for something that you could have sat down and just spent 30 minutes to 1 hour or 2 hours of your time, and you get the same or even a better output than going to pay somebody thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of naira. So that's the direction.
And that's the leapfrog we're talking about. All right, Ruby and Wale, we're about to wrap up, but I think the final question we have is, if we fast forward to 2030, what do you think success would look like for female-led MSMEs who are leveraging AI in Nigeria? We did gentlemen first before. As we wrap up, let's do ladies first.
Okay, thank you. I am already excited thinking about it, because we already know that SMEs and MSMEs are the backbone of this economy. So if we see more people, these 280,000 or millions of people adopting this, then they're able to create exponential opportunities for growth. And what does that look like? That translates to more money in the economy. That translates to more people occupied, more women saying, oh, okay, this is how this person is succeeding. I want more of that. And it will be incredible to see how that affects our GDP. It will be incredible to see how that affects our export opportunity. So that obviously also affects our balance of trade and our opportunity to really, really move forward in terms of momentum as a whole for the country.
All right.
Wow.
Wale? Let's get Wale's last word on that very quickly.
We have to go on a break quickly.
Yes, we have to.
We can come back.
We can come back. But we want to say thank you to Ruby Igwe, Country Manager and Director of, in Nigeria for ALX Africa. And of course, Wale Adegoke, the CEO of Nimbus Media Limited. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you will be back again to tell us more about the success of this great project you're embarking on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, we'll take a break now. Jasiri returns.
Welcome back to Jasiri, watching us live on all our social media platforms. Now, let's take you to ongoing conversations that we had on the show, well, throughout the week, actually. This is just bringing you an update on the ongoing dispute between Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and Senate President Godswill Akpabio. So we told you during yesterday's show that Senator Akpoti had filed for an interim injunction to restrain the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions to sit on the issue of her behavior in court during plenary about 2 weeks ago. Well, the court granted her request, restraining the Senate from initiating disciplinary actions against her following a clash with Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Also, yesterday, she formally raised a petition to the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct and Public Petitions for investigation against Senator Akpabio over alleged sexual harassment and abuse of power.
The petition is in my name against the President of the Nigerian Senate, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuse of office, and malicious obstruction of my legislative functions. You may recall, sir, that on Friday in Arise TV, I did make some statements. And I have decided to narrow these statements in a formal petition against the President of this Senate. So if it may please you, I would humbly step forward and lay this petition.
You may proceed.
All right, so the Senate President, who was presiding over the session, finally made his first official comment on the matter, addressing the allegations, saying, and I quote, "I took that petition because I didn't want the people who do not understand our rules in the Senate to think I am deliberately silencing her because I am involved," end of quote. Here's what he had to say.
While I am aware that the matters are in court, however, I would like to state clearly that at no time did I ever attempt any sexual harassment on the said distinguished Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan or any other woman, for that matter. I and my siblings were raised very well by my late single mother. She died in year 2000, through very difficult times, and I therefore have the highest regards for women. I also wish to state that I also have 4 beautiful daughters. So at no time will I ever harass any woman, and I've never done so. In addition, even as a state governor, I was awarded various awards. One of them was the one you wish to know, the most gender-friendly governor in Nigeria. I served between 2007 and 2015. I urge all Nigerians, particularly the media, and then, of course, the members of the social media, to await the court's decision. And please do not jump to conclusions on matters of mere allegations.
The Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct and Public Petitions dismissed Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan's petition on procedural grounds, citing that the petition was signed by Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan herself, violating Order 40 of the Senate Standing Orders, which requires petitions to be presented on behalf of others, not personally authored by senators. The committee also noted that the issues raised were already subjects of ongoing court cases, rendering them sub judice and outside, Lola, did I get that right?
Yes. Judice.
And outside the Senate's jurisdiction. So the question is, what next? It's plenty, guys.
Honestly, I cannot imagine what Senator Natasha Akpoti-Odoagan is going through at the moment. You know, this is part of, I will speak for myself, this is part of why women hardly talk about things. Because the way everything is going, it feels so overwhelming. Because it's something that you are alleging was done to you, that probably cannot be witnessed by others, or the truth or the lie cannot just be proved. It's like your word against mine. Yeah. So the weight is on you. It's a lot.
So it turns he who alleges must prove. Yeah. Especially in issues when it becomes he said, she said on these issues of sexual harassment. It can be a very, very tough hill to climb.
It is.
And for her submitting that petition, I'm hearing some conversation about voice notes and things. I was just like, okay, there is a lot behind the scenes on this story.
So what I think is, it even feels wrong that he's still the one presiding over this matter. An allegation of such magnitude, he should have stepped down. And then while investigations are ongoing. And to be honest, you know, all of those, I have this, I have a daughter, when has that stopped anybody, really?
It's a valid question. It's never stopped anybody. Even one of the things I often say is most people who find themselves guilty of these things, they hide in plain sight. They hide with authority. They hide with respect. They hide with, I have a mother, I have a daughter, I have a wife. But it's never stopped people who are rapists, who are abusers, who have mothers, who come from women, who have wives, and who have daughters. That does not therefore equal that you're incapable of being guilty of such crimes. And then when he says, oh, he was awarded the most gender-friendly politician in Nigeria, or governor in Nigeria, hello, is it not the same awards we all know? Do you understand?
For me, was the smirks in between and the, you know, smiles, the justification, all the things, the details you broke down in your speech. Oh, I'm the most gendered. I was raised by a single mom. We were raised well. Those things for me are, for me personally, inconsequential, and they are irrelevant. Anyone can sit down with their own story and say, oh, you know, we are raising our children single mothers.
There's a beautiful Yoruba proverb that that means if two people are in contention, that means when you're talking about it, you can't speak of yourself in an ill manner. You can't make yourself the villain in your own story, basically. So that's how everybody vilifies themselves.
And we also need to note that the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct and Public Petitions did actually sit yesterday, overseen by Neda Imasuen, and they were meant to sit on the disciplinary action or the disciplinary request or whatever that was brought against her. So she, remember on yesterday's show, we broke the news that she had gone to court to get that disciplinary committee for them not to be able to sign. The court actually sided with her after the show, so she does have an interim injunction against the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct and Public Petitions, but they still sat anyway.
Those are the things that confuse
down now. They still sat anyway. Apparently they sat, I think, about 2 hours late, and then there was a point in which the chairman of the committee was speaking about the fact that she did not show up and they didn't understand why she showed. I have an interim injunction against you. Why am I going to sit down and show up?
Like Lola was bursting here. Like, why? That doesn't make sense. If there's an interim injunction, why must you sit? Is it now the
what do you think interim injunction is? Interim injunction is in the meantime. And when there's an interim injunction, everybody is supposed to maintain what we call legally
status quo.
That means nobody shifts from this. You stay here until you
stay at what was happening before the interim injunction came.
I think this will be very interesting to see how it plays out, because the Senate President, Blessings, made a very well worthy of note statement that actually he is not supposed to be seating still as Senate President while investigation is going on.
It's like being a judge in your own matter.
Exactly. You need to recuse yourself, take yourself out.
And he was saying he took it from her so that it won't look, so you had a choice. Is that
let's finish. Let's go for a quick break. We'll come back and wrap. Every day this story adds another layer. We'll be back after this. And so, as we were talking about, the ethics committee sat. She didn't show up. They had a few words to say to her in regards. They spoke about the allegations as well, then spoke about the fact that they're meant to be sitting on her disciplinary matter. And one of the things that many people are also upset about is the language maybe it's language, I don't know, what the chairman of the committee said, that her petition was dead on arrival. So he's right. He was speaking about the Senate standing rules.
Yes, their code of conduct.
Regarding petitions, that she cannot lay a petition that's signed by her. I think that's a very minor issue. As of today, she can bring another petition signed by even her husband. I'm actually expecting possibly that her husband might be the one to sign the petition, or anybody else. And there were people who were talking about the fact that there was no other senator willing to sign the petition on her behalf so that she could lay the petition. And I think that speaks to a larger issue that many people may not realize.
Tolu,
the Senate is turning into like a boys' club.
It is a boys' club with 4 people.
Backlash.
No, when we have 4 women in the Senate, and it's filled with over 134 men. So what do you term that? You know, I feel the weight of Senator Oduagan's challenges. I cannot lie to you. For every woman who has been sexually harassed in some way or the other, we share in her pain, because I was discussing with someone close, and I can see the way men band together. That it's as if I already know this is like a losing battle. Even if a woman puts a camera in a private to show that I was assaulted, I was raped, there will still be some sleazy where they could say, oh, because you wanted to lure them to your kitty,
you wanted there to be a court.
That's why you lure them this way. Like something that happened during Princess Comedian's case, that they said, oh, she intentionally put a camera, she set up. How is a woman to prove,
you know, and then
that she was harassed?
You have the patriarchal queens who are killing the women from the back.
It's
and
painful.
You ask yourself, how do we win? And you keep laying thick the foundation and the saying that women cannot function without emotion. We carry emotions into everything.
And somebody even told me that, somebody I was discussing with said, oh, when it happened, you bodied it. That means you didn't talk about it at that time. So why do you have to talk about it at the later days? And I keep saying that any man responds to those people. They cannot understand how a woman truly feels when there is an assault on your body.
You are a deer in headlights. First of all, you're standing, you're thinking,
what should I do?
What just happened? No,
what just happened?
Yes.
Okay, is this what I think is happening? Is this what I think it is?
It's supposed to be friendly.
And then you're thinking, is it this person? Because a lot of the times it is often the people we know. It is often the men that we know. Men that we have working relationships with, we have associative relationships with, we have familiar relationships with. It's men that we know in passing. It's not always strangers. It's not majorly strangers.
It has happened.
It has happened. Body
it registers long after it has happened. Sometimes while it's even happening, maybe there's an improper touch. You're trying to like process. Is this supposed to be happening?
Did I do something to bring it on myself?
And I say, you know, the lovely Senator Akpoti Uduaghan, I said, for her to come to ring this bell, she must have evidence to prove. People are talking about, oh, yeah, okay, we are waiting to see what she has. While she has all of that as evidence, does that still mean that
she
with
won't
all
win
the
it.
evidence she has, it will be in
Catherine, let me even shock you. Because we might think she has evidence. Do you know many of these things that is escalating to this point? I don't even think this was her intention.
No.
It just went out of hand. And especially when a woman raises that sexual allegation for hand, she's already, it's like dead on arrival.
Yes, she's
you are never going to win. There is hardly anything any woman can do when it comes to sexual harassment to either prove to people, because you are asking somebody that was assaulted to prove. It's like asking somebody that was shot dead to prove his death.
So, you know, I want to pick up on that, but quickly also share that this morning there were actually pro-Akpabio demonstrators who were at the entrance of the National Assembly. They were chanting songs in support of the President of the Senate, demanding, among other things, that Senator Akpoti Uduaghan apologize to the Senate, while also calling her for her to be probed by the Senate. So not calling for the allegations to be probed, and I think that is what is clearly missing here. Whether you believe her or you believe him, now that he has formally come out to deny it, we should be demanding a transparent investigation. Regardless of the side you are on. Regardless of, because let's be honest, as well as I was thinking about it, what are the possible ways this could end? One, she has to prove it. If she proves it, does he apologize? Does he step down? Do we not know the country we're in? If they do any kind of backdoor negotiation and she comes out to say, you know what, I'm removing this case, she loses all credibility. She loses all all credibility. So this path has now become a path that she must toe to the very end.
I think she's a determined woman. That
Yes.
from the get-go, she decided to see this path and to walk it to the end with her head high. I'm saying that even when you're trying to be unbiased and you see the body language of the Senate president,
the pushback
of the Senate, it's not just the Senate, because yesterday there was a senator representing Ekiti who tried to drag former governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, into the matter.